Hi guys, it's your girl Steph, and today we are going to talk about the differences between Clo3d and Marvelous Designer. So it's been a year that I've been using Marvelous Designer, and I've actually made the switch to Clo3d. It's been a year, so I've actually seen a little bit of the differences, and I get this question all the time, so I'm here to break it down for you guys so that you guys know which program is better for you to use. Okay, just to clarify, Clo3d and Marvelous Designer are owned by the same company, and they are pretty much the same. And I'm not lying when I say that I would say roughly about 80% the same. So let's dive into the differences between them so we can help you guys choose. Okay, the second thing you need to know is that Clo3d is more so for like fashion designers, and Marvelous Designer is more so for like game industry / 3D artists. So I've actually got Marvelous opened right now so you guys can see the difference. This is a project file that I have been working on, and you can see in the left hand window there is the avatar and the 3D garments, and on the right hand side you have the 2D pattern, which this is where you build all your patterns and it will simulate on the left hand side. Now there's not much difference between Marvelous and Clo, and I really mean that because we're going to switch to Clo. This is Clo3d, and it looks very similar, but there are some differences and I'm going to walk them through with you. So I've been using Clo3d for about, I think 2-3 months, and then I've been using Marvelous Designer for about probably 7 to 8. So the reason why I made the switch to Clo3d is because it had extra features that I needed for a specific project. So they have a lot of extra tools up here. A lot of them I still have not used, but if we just show the difference between Marvelous Designer, you can definitely see that there are less tools to use. Which, to be honest, if you don't use all of those tools, and if you think that Marvelous Designer works for you, then use Marvelous Designer. Another thing that Clo3d is really catering for fashion designers is that you can export your garments into the real world. So if you need to export it to and send it to a manufacturer, you can do that. So the export settings they have here, if we go to File, Export, you can see all of these options here which you can use. Another thing that I find really useful is that if you guys want to use interactive formats for like a WebGL or like AR formats, they actually have the capability in Clo3d to export GLTF and GLB, which I've used a lot, and this is something I believe is missing in Marvelous Designer. But for those who work in fashion, you can export your tech packs here if you wanted to. They've got these pattern outlines, DXF formats, and all these other ones here, which are pretty useful if you guys want to export it into the real world. And if we jump into Marvelous Designer, let me show you what you can export. The list is definitely shorter, but this is because with Marvelous Designer, the aim was to keep everything digital or online. So all of these formats you can use within like Blender, Cinema 4D, Unreal, Houdini, and you can keep it basically living on the screen. So Clo3d is really good for if you wanted to have the option of exporting it into real world, then you can. And MD, Marvelous Designer, is more so for keeping it in the digital format and keep it living in a digital world and space. Another thing that is different is in the drop down options here, you have 5 options here. You've got simulation, animation, modular, UV editor, and sculpt. And if we jump into Clo3d, let me just show you the difference again. Boom, more options, which makes sense because you do actually pay more for Clo3d, but you've got way more options. Some of them I still don't know what it does. I'm sure if you're a fashion designer you might know, but I come from a 3D background, so some of these I still have not used. But in summary, you got more options here. One thing that is good about Marvelous Designer is that they have integrated Substance with just Marvelous Designer. I'm not quite sure if they've done that for Clo, but I'm pretty sure they've done it for Marvelous Designer. So if you click it into your library, you can see it here. I believe I have not used it, but you can import all of your Substance textures, or you can go back and forth from Marvelous Designer to Substance pretty seamlessly, which I think is pretty good, especially if you're a 3D artist. A few more features that Clo3d has is the render. They have an inbuilt render, I believe. So if you go to render in the top and click the renderer here, click here to start interactive render. I believe it's V-Ray, but here it is. Here is the model, and it's, you know, it's interactive, so this is pretty useful if you're a fashion designer and you don't have any other 3D programs or other 3D external renderers that you use. Clo3d has it all, basically. You can texture, you got your render in here. I personally don't tend to use this renderer because I tend to export all of my garments into Cinema 4D, and then I use my Redshift renderer, which I prefer compared to this, I believe it's V-Ray. You've got to double check that, but anyways, it's I just got preference for Redshift. That is all. So I'm more comfortable with it. I know how to texture and use the Redshift shaders, so that is the reason why I personally don't use the renderer in Clo3d. But if you are a person who doesn't have any 3D programs or 3D external renderers, then Clo3d has the full package for you to export and render out. Basically render out your garments and light them nicely. Pricing wise, they also differ. So for Clo3d, because it has all those extra features, it does cost slightly more. So it's about $50 per month for Clo, and for Marvelous Designer it is $39 a month. Okay, I'm sure there are more differences, but I have not explored it all yet. So I've been using Clo and Marvelous Designer for around a year and been playing around with them. So if you guys know any more differences, put it in the comments below so that we can help people out, because there is not enough information or videos about the differences between the two. In summary, if you're a 3D artist and if you use Blender, if you use Cinema 4D, Maya, and if you've got an external renderer like Redshift, Octane, if you're using Eevee, Cycles, whichever, then use Marvelous Designer, because you're only using Marvelous Designer to really build your garments or your curtains or your pillows. You can make pillows in this program, it's pretty sick. But yeah, if you're just solely using Marvelous Designer to build your garment and you're gonna bring it into your 3D program regardless in your workflow, then just use Marvelous Designer. If you guys are more so come from a fashion background and you need to export it into the real world, you need to send it to manufacturers, into production, use Clo. Also, if you don't have a 3D renderer already or a 3D program of choice, then of course use Clo, because it has everything. It has the renderer, it has the tech packs, and like the formats that you need to export into the real world, it has that. You can light in Clo3d, and there's extra options in there as well. But if you don't need all those extra fancy bits and you're already using another 3D program, then just use Marvelous Designer. So this is my 2 cents of what I've learned over the past year with using both these programs. They are very similar. Like, if you guys know how to use Marvelous Designer and you make the switch to Clo3d, it's not that much different. You can use it straight away. All the icons and buttons are pretty much the same. You just got a few extra features here and there in Clo3d, but otherwise, I kid you not, 80% the same. So I hope this is helpful. I know there's not a lot of videos out there explaining the differences, so I hope this helps. And honestly, because they are so similar that it's really hard to tell apart. So if you guys got any more questions, feel free to put it in the comments below or message me on Discord. I have a Discord community called 3D Wizards, where basically it's a community where we talk 3D, we nerd about 3D, we give advice about 3D, learn 3D. It's basically a chill vibe. So if you guys want to come through, the link is in my bio. Also, not to forget, I stream every week on Twitch and I stream 3D content. So if you guys want to see me make like a 3D environment live or digital fashion live, then come through. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.